Everyone's talking about the iPhone Air, but I think the iPhone 17 is the most exciting phone in the lineup. So much so that I actually upgraded my iPhone 13 Pro to an iPhone 17 already. But I'm gonna pretend I don't know anything about it so we can unbox it here today. Apple's probably calling this their best iPhone yet, other than the Pro and the Air, and I believe it. First of all, what a great green. There's actually some controversy online. People are saying that last year's colors are better, but man, this sage, it looks awesome. I actually originally pre-ordered the green and then I canceled it and went for black because I'm a coward, but holding it in my hands, it looks awesome. And the matching rails, oh, it looks so good. The only hesitation is that from the front, you can kind of see the green, which to me is a little distracting, but I don't think most people will care. In the box, they're keeping things simple. We've got a cable and literally just one slip of paper now saying, you no longer need a physical SIM. Let's see how long this cable is, because if there's no brick, you know, at least it should be a nice cable. This packaging's fancy. What the hell? Look at this. This is crazy. This is just a cable, bro. For cables, it's a USB-C to C, and it's sleeved. Really nice texture. And for length, it is 1 meter long. What is that in feet and inches? I don't know. 3.3? Feels small. I'm only 2 feet taller than this. That's crazy. All right, back to the design of the phone. I think it looks good. It looks exactly like the 16, which is kind of disappointing considering the Pro got obviously a big redesign and the Air looks unique. On the left side, we have our action button, which lets you rebind to different features. I set mine to Shazam, so you can easily Shazam music on Instagram Reels, whatever like that. And we have our volume rockers. On the top, nothing but an antenna band. On the right side, we have our power button / Siri button / wallet button and our camera cutout. This is my first phone with that cutout and it is all right. I find it to be in an okay place, but also in a place where when I'm taking it out of my pocket, I'm kind of grabbing it by the button, which is a little annoying, but I'll get used to it. And on the bottom, we have our speaker grill and our USB-C 2 port. Same as last year, you're not getting the same speeds on your USB port as you are in the Pro phones, which is a little disappointing considering they've upgraded the cameras on the back. So we now have a 48 megapixel main camera and 48 megapixel ultra wide, which means you'll be taking high quality photos and videos and then transferring it off very slowly via AirDrop or cable, which is annoying. But I guess if you're gonna do anything with video, you're getting the Pro. Seems like a weak excuse these days. One thing I noticed right off the bat when I got my 17 is that the hand feel is great. Coming from the older phones where it's flat, I think it can look quite good, but it's a little sharp in your hand versus the new series, it's flat on the sides, but it's kind of rounded into itself. So it fits in your hand really naturally. It doesn't feel sharp and it still feels like I have a grip on it, which is awesome. It's also nice to get away from the shiny edges where it gets pretty fingerprinty pretty fast. Another nice change is the front glass, which is now Ceramic Shield 2, which promises 3 times better scratch resistance, which is great because I don't like to use a case, I don't like to use a screen protector, and on my 13 Pro, you can see it's getting little scratches on the sides, so if I can prevent that, that would be fantastic. And this is with me trying to take care of it, but there's no real way to put down your phone. You can either put it on the screen or you can put it on the cameras, and I don't really want to damage either, so I guess I'm out of luck. But you know who's not out of luck? Our sponsor. Thanks to Saley for sponsoring this video. If you picked up a new iPhone or have any phone with eSIM support, Saley can help you stay connected when traveling. Just load it up before you leave and activate it when you land for near instant service. No more trying to connect to sketchy airport Wi-Fi networks. It's available in over 200 destinations, and if you're gonna be traveling for a while, consider their Saley Ultra plan. You'll get unlimited data, a whole bunch of other extras, and even access to premium digital security tools. Go to saley.com/shortcircuit or download the Saley app and use code ShortCircuit for 15% off a data plan today. One thing I can't show off here, but I have to call out as being really nice. When I set up my phone to transfer all my stuff from my other phone, it just automatically ripped the information from the SIM card and put it as an eSIM on my new phone. Super convenient. Anyways, back to the phone. Here we have a 6.3-inch Super XDR display. Their best display ever. And they mean it this time because it's actually the same display as the Pro models, which is awesome. So now you're getting 120 Hertz, you're getting always on display, you're getting 3000 nits of brightness, and you actually get that. We had labs check out the phone, obviously, and they're able to validate those claims as 3000 and some nits, and that's excellent. They also boast about getting 33% less reflections on your screen, but don't expect anything like the S25 Ultra. You're still gonna have pretty gnarly reflections, but yeah, I guess it's better than my 13 Pro. Still not super visible. And though the screen gets 50% brighter than the iPhone 16, you don't have to worry about a huge hit to your battery life. This thing is a tank. I don't know why Apple is so afraid of telling us how many watt hours or milliamp hours our battery is, because this thing got, what, 21 hours of battery life? That's crazy. I'm gonna watch K-pop Demon Hunters like 8 times. I've never seen it before. And if somehow you drain your battery all in one day, don't worry, you've got fast charging now. Finally, on these regular phones, you're getting a 50% charge in 20 minutes. And again, Labs was able to verify that claim. You're actually gonna get about 50% charge in just 20 minutes, which is a 10-minute improvement over the iPhone 16. That's great, but the only way this can be so good for media, and if I'm gonna watch 21 hours of a hit Netflix TV show, is if the screen and speakers sound good. So let's pull up CrabBrave. Woo, excuse the top-down camera, because this is blown out, but this screen is bright. Oh my goodness. This looks great, other than the Face ID cutout. But I gotta say, Face ID is worth the cutout. I was using the Pixel 10 Pro for a while, and I did not like the under-screen fingerprint scanner compared to Face ID. Anyways, speakers. Okay, I gotta say, it sounds pretty good. It gets loud enough at 100% where it's almost a little uncomfortable, especially when you're holding the phone, kind of cupping the speakers to be towards your ears. But at a lower volume that's a little bit more natural to be listening to, it still sounds pretty good. You still get a little tiny thump of bass, and yeah, overall, pretty impressed. And if you're wondering, yes, it has 2 speakers, unlike the Air, which only has 1. You need 2 speakers. When it comes to performance, you'll never believe it. It's great. Like most iPhones, they're gonna do excellently when it comes to CPU and GPU usage. Though you can't expect to be as good as the 17 Pro. It's actually not that far off, being within 10 to 15% in most benchmarks, and it absolutely hog wallops the Pixel 10 in every single test we threw at it. Destroyed. If you want more specifics, check out the Labs website. They're gonna have a detailed rundown of all the new iPhones so you can see exactly how they line up. All right, here's the thing that's gonna help you decide whether you're getting a 17 or a 17 Pro. The cameras, because that's really the big difference. Of course, the Pro's getting, extra GPU, CPU core, whatever that means. But the big thing is that plateau with the extra camera. This one here only has, like I said, the 48 megapixel wide and ultra wide, but the Pro has the 48 megapixel 4X telephoto. Do you actually need it though? Let's take a look. All right, we got perfect timing. My best friend, honestly, great guy, Adam Sondergaard is here wearing a nice new LTT Store shirt, again, launching today on LTT Store. Okay, so this is 1X, we got 0.5, and our 2X, what they call optical quality zoom. And that just means they're taking that 48 megapixel sensor and binning it down to 12 megapixels to crop in. And it's supposed to look as good as if you had a real optical, but it probably doesn't. All right, here's a photo from our main camera, and I gotta say, looks pretty good. It is very sharp, even with the very challenging lighting. You can see the processing is trying to do a little bit to make sure that Adam is visible. He kind of gets the same effect that the Pixel 10 video had where Reese looked like a cardboard cutout. Adam kind of does here too, especially because he hits that pose so hard. But overall, a good photo, if not a little uncanny. Going into the ultra wide, again, things look pretty good. There's not a whole lot of distortion on the edges, which is fantastic. I mean, they've had a while to figure that out, but it seems like they've figured it out. And again, zooming in, you're getting a lot of quality when you punch in. Though Adam does still look a little odd, but I think it's better than just having him completely unrecognizable or blown out because of all the lights. Going to our 2X optical quality zoom, you know what? That does look pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. He looks pretty sharp. You can see the individual beard hairs and everything clearly. Going into the light, you can start to see, again, the details in the ribbon. There's a little bit of what looks like AI processing, like things likely aren't that sharp naturally, but it's pretty convincing if it is just processing. Because again, who's really gonna be punching in that deep? So yeah, it would be nice to have more of a zoom, but let's see what happens if we just zoom past this optical quality 2X zoom. All right, here's a photo at 4X, which is the optical quality on the Pro. And here's one at the max 10X digital zoom. Let's see if we can actually read anything on the cup at either of those levels. All right, here's the 4X. It's okay. I kind of appreciate that it's not guessing. I've seen videos from other creators where you can really see in like the Samsung cameras where they're trying to use AI to guess what it says and it just mangles everything. The iPhone does not. It just lets you not be able to read it, which I guess is commendable. Going into the 10X, again, not bad. It says Mark and it says R, but if I didn't know it said it, I might hesitate, but it's not bad. I don't know what the order is, but it could be worse, especially when you punch out to the regular photo. I think Andrew looks totally fine here, though. I don't think it'd be something he'd set as his profile picture. By comparison, the 17 Pro can go all the way up to 40X using its digital zoom. You'll have to see how that turned out in Linus's video. And this is video. It also gives us a chance to check out the dual capture feature. So if you're recording, your friends and you're showing things around, you now get to pay attention to you in the corner and be distracted by that and probably miss whatever you're trying to shoot. I'm not sure, but you can move it around. You can't move it around after the fact, and it'll show up in the video moving around the screen, which is kind of neat, but I don't really know what this is for. I guess this is not for me, but hey, if this is for you, congrats. And yes, I've saved the best for last. And it's so rare to say this about a front-facing camera, but it truly is the coolest camera on the phone and probably a peek into the future of what iPhone cameras look like, because this has center stage. And you might say, I have that on my Mac. But it's a little different here because the front-facing camera has a larger square sensor, which lets you do this. You can go to take a photo and go, I actually want it to be landscape, tap the screen and boom! Whoa, it's punched out and now you have all this space for all your friends. Look at us. That's fantastic. I think it's really cool, and it'll use AI to automatically detect when there are other people and let them into the frame as well. And it works for video as well. Look at this. I have landscape video, but I'm holding the phone vertically. Much more comfortable. And I guess that is the only perk of being able to do this. Remember when I said I'd talk about the camera capture button later? I kind of lied because in all that, I never used it. It's really hard to get used to having this pressure sensitive button that does some things, but also, it's really hard to tell what and when and how much pressure to use. And if you tap and hold, it changes things. And just look at the settings menu for it. You can change single and double click if you need the screen on. These are all the adjustments you can change. And then I guess the order of those matters. I don't understand. And again, it's in a spot where you're pressing it quite often. It would have been a great Touch ID button. I was really hoping they were gonna bring it as a Touch ID button, but they didn't. But you can use it to take a photo, or you can use it to activate visual intelligence by holding it. And bam, visual intelligence. Learn about the objects and places around you and get more information about what you see. It's shared with Apple to process what's in view. Objects and places are not stored on device. So if you care about that, be aware. All right, let's see what happens if I click Ask. Tapping the question box, ask ChatGPT for more information by capturing what's in view. Okay, asking ChatGPT. What am I looking at? Film production setups often include multiple cameras, lighting rigs, and crew. Okay, that's kind of cool. What kind of iPhone is this? The iPhone shown has a triple lens camera system. I don't know if it's listening when it says asking ChatGPT. I actually think it's just sending a photo and it's giving a response that it wants, which is a little odd. I guess typing in here is convenient, but I would much rather be able to talk to it while I'm showing it whatever's on my screen. Okay, so tapping the search button searches Google for similar images by capturing and sending what's in view. I mean, it worked. It's just pictures of people's laptops. Very odd. Again, I don't really know what I would use this for. It's there, it's accessible in a button that I already don't want to use, so your mileage may vary. And the last thing to talk about is iOS 26. It's all liquid glass now, whatever that means. But I actually think it looks kind of good. There are times where I think, there's a lot of colors going on here because it's reflecting the home screen and things just look a little kind of all over the place. But overall, I think it actually kind of looks neat, but I might have just been getting bored with how everything was looking. And now having anything different is kind of a blessing. It's the same way I feel about the camera design. I think the Pro and the Air look kind of cool just because they look different. And that's where the biggest downfall of the iPhone 17 kind of comes into play, which is that it just looks like an iPhone. If you're someone who likes to show off your phone, the Pro really is that, or the Air. And this is just the phone you should probably get. And that's not very exciting, but does exciting matter? It just seems to be the best phone. Starting at $800 for 256 gigs is fantastic. The always on display, which will hurt your battery life a little bit, but gives you so much more information at a glance. The 120 Hertz, which again, doesn't really add a whole lot, but just feels great to use. The upgraded cameras, it just seems like the no-brainer, and maybe that's enough. But what do you think? Are you gonna pick up an iPhone 17 series phone? Are these upgrades tempting enough to make you upgrade? Let us know down in the comments and check out Linus's coverage of the Air and the 17 Pro. They look exciting, but I think the base iPhone 17 is for me.